What's up, guys? Good morning. So today we are back at it as usual, chipping away at the very difficult data transfer modification that's been going on for a while. Let's do this first thing since we're not going to be running the script. Let's get that terminal out of the way. I got used to just leaving it there. So today is the 4th. We're starting earlier than usual today. We'll say 9:45. You know what? We'll say 10 because I'm probably going to go a couple minutes over on each of my breaks. That'll make up for the little 8 minutes difference. So we'll say from 10 to what time we change tasks. We're going to be working on, well, yesterday we finished dircheck's receive section for card group data dict, but it needs review though. Okay, so let's do that first. Let's go to client receive section, okay, which is right here, and then we're going to look at the card group data dict, or card group data. It's not a dictionary anymore, it's just it's actually just a name at this point. We are storing all of our data now in the chain. Well, since this is a shared object between the two clients, it's going to be stored in client 1. Client 1's change attribute dictionary. So let's jump in. If adder name is equal to card group data dict, okay, that's, I mean, card group data, yep. Change attribute equals false, okay. If object 1 game state is not in none waiting other player to draw 1, change adder is true. Fair enough. Change adder is equal to true. Okay, so how about this? Since this is for receive, okay, no, we do want to check the game state. I mean, this is fine. I was gonna say we could just get rid of this change adder var and then say if object 1 game state not in none waiting other player to draw, or game state is in a directory, and then if a directory. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm just realizing this. So we don't actually use adir anymore. So I'm going to put a note here. Need to modify above check logic since adir is going to be different now after DTM. Okay. Alright, so okay, need to modify this in above dircheck logic since adir is going to be different now after DTM. Alright, there we go. Gotta be specific and clear and concise. Okay, so I was thinking like we could just say if and then we could also just do, why did this indent? This indentation changed. Oh no, it didn't. Sorry. Okay, just checking. Yeah, I think we'll leave it like this, because if we did combine the two, I would still have to, I would have to say if object one, I would have to do if, and then and, or rather, and then I would still have to check to say if this and that change adder, and then like else change adder. So you know, it's kind of like whatever. We'll just do it like this. It's no big deal. So that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna roll with that, and then if change adder is equal to true, if length of data is equal to 2, meaning, so this is what we changed yesterday. Checks if length of data is equal to 2 to see if we are dealing with special case scenario from line 1432 and for pi round reset function. If length is equal to 2, we are dealing with this scenario. If the length is equal to 4, we are not dealing with this special case. And so we check if length is equal to 2, then card ID is equal to data at 1, which is the second entry. We put a note right here, note logic associated with the section to be reviewed, blah blah blah. Be careful, value supposed to equal just the prior card group name. Okay, so we put C1 change attribute list. Put receiver to come and says special case because it's just case. And I will actually put 4424. And like, I verified this, I looked at this before, and it is correct. Verified that this is indeed coded correctly. It is a bit of an odd circumstance and output, but it's really no big deal. Leave as is, and I'll put leave as is first. But we actually need to really verify that it is that is done to a tradition is required here and only here, because this is a direct modification to the adder, while every other instance of the modification of the adder is done in a way that is triggered on both server side and client side. Well, this special case is only executed on the server side. Adds this data with the string card ID as a special identifier, which is detected in dirchecks receive section logic. Okay, so like, alright, so we'll get rid of this since we're doing that right now. This line is going to replace the below line. So the 2 means is being replaced, the 1 means is replacing. So we, let's see, C1 change attribute list, because it's a shared object, because it's the card group data. Append, we append first the time, then the dir string, then the adder name, then the actual data. And in this case, the data consists of 2 objects. At index 0, it's the prior card group name. At index 1, it's the card ID. So this should say yeah, card ID is going to be data at 1, which is the card ID, which is the current card dot ID. So that's good. I'm pretty positive that's correct. Okay, and then that's for if the length of the data is equal to 2, and indeed the data is going to be it's going to be Ellie at 3 because it goes timestamp, dir string, adder name, data. Yep, so 0, 1, 2, 3 is the data, and this is for game, so yeah, data is gonna be LA3 for all of them. Looks like we got that written out correctly. Alright, so that looks good. Now, it's not mature to transfer, blah 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 blah. Already read that. Yeah, so this now, is data supposed to be a tuple? Like, does it matter? No, I don't think data, yeah, data isn't necessarily a tuple. Yeah, like, I can leave this as a list, it's fine. But actually, if I'm honest, from what I read, accessing tuples is faster than lists because the tuples don't have overhead logic involving it's funny, I was thinking about something anyway from when I was a child. It doesn't have any overhead associated with having to access or the ability to change them since they're immutable. So I'm just trying to think. Oh wait, no, we do. Well, no, we don't actually. No, we do need them. Okay, so actually, so here's the deal. We have the we grab the ink data change attribute list. I'm just trying to okay, so this is a tuple. So whenever we append to the change attribute list, we want to append as tuple. And I'll just put this in things to do to make sure that I like do this. Ensure change at list. Ensure tubes. Yeah, so 4424 ensure change attribute list entries are in the form of tuples instead of lists because they are faster. Alright. Yeah, so we don't ever actually add anything to the data. So I think it's fine for them to be tuples, and since they're faster, I think we should prefer that they be tuples, which means this but okay, hold up. So what about here? Like, yeah, because each one is its own entry. like it doesn't get modified. It's one and done. It never gets modified. And actually, to ensure that it doesn't get modified so that it's safer and more secure, we would prefer it to be yeah, so we're gonna prefer it to be a tuple, and we're gonna roll with that. So let me just go ahead and change these to be tuples. Right, so there's the first, the second, and the third, and now we are good to go concerning that. Yep. Okay. So now we can. I love that. It's my jam. Anyway, yeah, so this is perfect, I believe. Now let's go back up here to our section that we're working on. Alright, right here. So if ADER game state is equal to draw 2, if data is equal to 2, then card ID is equal to data 1, and then if data is equal, length of data is equal to 4, card ID is equal to data at 3. So normally it would be in this format: 0, 1, 2, 3. So the ID would be at index 3, and that is what it shows. So that is good. We verified this. Now this next part says card is equal to game.cardGroupDictionary at the integer of the card ID. And this part always confused me though, because oh, I know, we convert it to an integer because in certain cases it is actually sent in the form of the string, which is this special odd case scenario. It was just a convenient way for us to be able to do this. Because we do need the card ID, and like, it is weird. I'm gonna be honest, like, I could have sent the ID over normally and then just like put the value, you know, the length of the data would have been different though, unless I just populated it with none, and that just seemed kind of even like more like, I don't know, it seemed like either or was gonna be a weird instance. So I would rather like do it this way. I don't know, I'm on the fence about it. Like, I'm kind of thinking about changing it. I don't like changing stuff unless I really need to, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, is this something that's so silly or ugly or weird that I should change it, or should I just leave it? Because I could make the data have a length of 4 just like everything else, and instead for this special case I would put I would just put, well, then that raises the question, like, which index is, you know, gonna be the for the card group name, because none of them are for the regular format. So in that sense, that it's different in like in every other way, but it is still technically card group data. So I think it should fall under this category of this adder name. And we do need the card ID. So like honestly, I think this way is fine. The only confusing part about it is right here where we put int of card ID, because I'm like, wait, isn't it already an integer? Well, most of the time it is, but there's a very rare case where it's actually a string, and the reason we send it over as a string is to signify that special case scenario, and it's just an easy way to do two things at once. We're sending the ID, but we're also saying, hey, it's a special case scenario. So I think this is actually a smart way to do it. It's a little bit strange, but you know, it is what it is. I'll just put a comment here, and we'll say the reason we call int on ID here is because although 99% of the time it is already in the form of an integer, 1% it is sent as a string to signify the round reset special case scenario. Yeah, there we go. So now I'll know. So then we have card equals game.card group dict at the key of card ID, which is converted to an integer, just in case it's a string. Card.change from dirt check is changed to true, and we want to do that to ensure that we are not sending this over the network again, because we're already receiving this data. We don't want to circularly send it. And we say if int is in string type of card ID, so the card ID in this case might be a string. If it is, or rather, if card ID is an integer, the type will be int, so we convert the, I don't know, I guess it's not a string already, otherwise why would I call a string on it? I don't know. It probably returns it in a different format as a string, so I have to turn it into a string to compare it to the string int. And then we lower it just to make sure it is lowered, just in case for whatever reason it would have been capitalized, which I don't think it ever would be capitalized. So I'm gonna put a comment here because I don't know if that's necessary. I don't like code that's not necessary. Like, it's like if you don't know if you need it, check to see if you need it. Don't just put it anyway as like a maybe it's a failsafe, maybe it's not, maybe it just makes your program take to run. Let's not do that. So we're gonna put a caution comment, and I'll say does this line actually need string and dot lower? I know it might need string, but I don't think it needs lower. So we can actually test this real quick by going over to test reminders, and we're gonna go right here, and so we're gonna create x which equals 1. Then we're gonna say if type of, or rather, let's see, if type of x is equal to int print true. So now we're gonna open up a terminal. We're gonna cd to Canasta testing. Then we're gonna do test reminders. And okay, it printed true. So this is how you actually test it. So I don't even have to convert it to a string. That is why. See, so I had a fundamental misunderstanding. I didn't know you could just literally put int like this. I thought that the interpreter would see that like as, I don't know, errant. I didn't know you could just type like that. So then we'll put s equals s, and we'll do the same thing but for string. So I'm guessing then you can do this for strings as well. And yeah, we get true both times. So I actually learned that today. Like, I feel like I knew that at one point in time, but I forgot that that was a thing. Like, I also forgot about the format method on strings, because now, you know, you usually use f strings. You don't call the format function anymore. Usually it's just you directly pass it in to the string itself. Anyway, so the date is 4/4/24. Sometimes you forget things that you knew. Duh. Let's you can reminder that you check the type of an object by writing out the type name, int, string, etc., without having to convert it to a string, without having to write it in the format of a string. I previously thought you had to write the equal to int part out as equal to int. But that is not the case. Well, so this means, and let me just try one more. So we'll say class CLS, and then we'll do def init. Let's pass it in self, and then we'll say self dot y equals y, and then we'll do c equals CLS. And now I'm gonna say if type of C is equal to CLS, print true. Oops, I put a semicolon instead of a colon, and it prints true. So put this also applies for class names as well. If class name is equal to CLS, type is equal to CLS. Easy. So I was overcomplicating that, and I'll put this as a little title. Is going to be what? What do we call this? But type equal to. Yeah, that's a pretty good name for that, I think. All right. So now we can go to where are we going to? So that means the card class is going to be capital C card. Hold on. You can get rid of test reminders. So it's actually gonna be int. So we can get rid of this lower. We can get rid of this string. And then we can just say if int, or rather, if type of card ID is equal to int. Yeah, if type of card ID is equal to int, and then get rid of that. And then this will be say if type of card ID is equal to string. So let's get rid of this and say modify the section to include special case scenario from the reverse none. Since this adder change doesn't occur inside of the append method or another way in which the prior guardian would be changed through the method call. Through the method call. Since the guardian was called the server side. As is the case in every instance for this one. In this case, we have appended the string card ID instead of the actual card ID as entry 0, 1, 2, 3. No, this is actually entry 1. Instead, we have appended modified to include special case scenario for when run reset is and set to equal none since this adder change. Change doesn't occur inside of the append. Yep, there we go. Okay. Okay, so then we say if type of card ID is equal to string, card.prior, card group name is equal to data 0, which is correct. And then we say card.change from dirt check is equal to false. And then I'll put leaving this section as is during DTM mod because it's for testing needs review. Verified that change adder is not ever showing as true. Okay, I see. This is fine to leave. There's no need to restructure this actually. Yeah, this is very straightforward. Okay, let's see, this is, need to modify a dir logic. So I think what we need to do now actually is come right up here and modify this a dir logic. I was going to put that off, but I think the time has come to go ahead and do that. Okay, something's wrong with my, I don't know. Why is it doing this? playing the same. What the fuck? Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking about switching from YouTube music, cause it has just been buggy, bro. Like it sucks. Like it's buggy, dude. Why is it always buggy, bro? Like I don't know. You would think, you know, it's one of the premier music apps. Like for it to bug out as much as it does, it's, you know. Anyway, let's see. So if third star is equal to player and receive is equal to true, then so, alright. Yeah, these need to be updated. Okay. So if the directory string is equal to player and receive is equal to true, ADIR would previously have referenced client, and in this case it would be client would be the ink data. Okay. And do I have that logic correctly for the send? Where is the... Okay, send section. Yeah, the client equals current client. Okay, yeah. Okay. Client equals current object. Okay, so current object is ink data. Yeah, so that's coded correctly. I just wanted to verify that real quick. I was like, wait a second. Is that... coded correctly? Alright, so... yeah, all the way back up here. So ADIR is equal to client.change player attribute dictionary. Well, no, we're iterating through. When we're receiving, we're iterating through the changed attribute dictionary. And we are appending directly, I mean, we're calling dir check per iteration through this changed attribute list. So, like, we could technically just pass in a dir and that would be we would pass in a dir. See, because we're not going to be using prior. We're not going to use prior adderdict or any of that stuff anymore. I don't think. I mean, but prior is a completely separate question. So, yeah, we're not going to use the chain. Yeah, we're not. I don't think we're going to need. Like, we don't need this stuff. We might need. So we will need. Maybe the prior directory. So for right now, I'm only concerned about the ADIR. So we don't need that because that is not. We're not going to be using a directory anymore. Okay. Okay, so this is okay, so now let's think about this. So I removed all instances of ADIR, and I just want to think about this for a second. How exactly are we going to know within this function which attribute list that we're going to be dealing with. So for instance, like whenever, maybe for receive, I don't know if this is gonna be, so an easy way to check for this would just be to look for a dir. We're actually going to minimize dir check. We're going to highlight it, and then we're gonna put what is it, Alt L. Okay, now we're looking inside of this selection for any instances of a dir. So yeah, so we would actually need to pass it in, because what we're trying to do on lines like this right here is we're checking to see if game state is in, well, which was previously the changed attribute dictionary for a game, but now we only have one, so we just have the one changed attribute list. But we actually have two of them. There's the client, there's the C1 and C2. So I think, yeah, we'll have to pass the directory in to the dir check function call. Which means we'll have to put, let's see, let's call this a dir. I mean, well, like, what should we actually call it? We could just call it directory. We could call it, like, honestly, I don't even know if directory is a technically correct term. Oh, we forgot to post our stream, dudes. Damn. Directory. That's directory, dude. That's just how it is. I forgot to. Okay, and check the link. It's a file system cataloging structure. So yeah, it's not even technically a directory. I mean, you could call it that, but the more proper term for it would be, well, since we call it dir check, like, we can change the name of dir check, because I'm sick of saying dir check. We'll just call it the data list. Data list, I think, is probably the most accurate naming. Yeah, I think so. So the data list will equal well, there's actually, I don't have to do all that. I know where the dir check is called. It is called here on line like 4. It's not there. It's called, this is for send. Okay. And then we're gonna add data list equals none. Okay, and then this will add what do I have to I don't think I need this right there. Why would I need a second parentheses?